Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Early Merry Christmas. We're getting in the Christmas spirit here, and welcome to the ARTyRV Glass Studio live stream.
Yeah, Barb, that's great. It's a beautiful night here in beautiful South Carolina. It's a nice chilly 50 degrees. And we got the heater on.
Yeah, I'm excited about tonight because we have the viewer showcase tonight, and we have 3 viewers that have sent in their projects.
We do.
We'll share those towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
And
we have a glass chat, and then I'm going to show you a trick that you can do with your glass cutter to help you ease the pressure on your wrist.
Yeah. So looks like everybody's been working on sun catchers. I've been seeing all kinds of pretty projects on Facebook, and I hope you all are getting into some craft fairs and doing some
it's that time of year, Barb,
and
right before Christmas. I'm sure there's at least one craft fair between now and the 17th. So I hope everybody has a good show and sell your work.
Yeah.
And take orders.
So I guess let's get right into the questions.
Sure.
Steve wanted to know, and hello everyone. I don't have time to say hello to each and every one of you, but we welcome each and every one of you.
And thank you for tuning in
and
tonight.
thank you for
we
tuning
appreciate
in.
it.
Steve wants to know, how do I get my silver finish nice and shiny? Just wax? ?
Well, not only just wax, but your silver finish, you should steel wool it. And that'll clean it up really well, and then wax it. And it should. Now, if you're using, 60-40 solder is a little shinier than 50-50. 50-50 is kind of dull. But if you're using a high tin content wire, or solder, you should be able to clean it well, like really well, and then steel wool it and then wax it. You should be fine.
And make sure you clean it.
Yeah, so clean
really
it.
good.
Clean it well. Yeah.
With the baking soda.
Clean it well with the
solution.
baking soda and water solution that we tell you about, and then steel wool it and wax it. Make sure you get all the wax off, because that's what will leave the little white edges and it'll look like oxidation, and it's just dry wax. So make sure you want to get that. And
Thank you, Thomas. We appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Thomas. We appreciate it. Yeah,
we
man.
appreciate you, Thomas,
Thank you.
and all you do. Thank you.
We do. We appreciate everything. So. That's a good question, though.
That was a good question.
Yeah, because, most people, when they're doing copper foil, they're chemical changing the solder to either black or copper. The idea of keeping it nice and shiny is good because your solder is shiny, basically shiny anyway. But if you steel wool it and clean it correctly, it should look really good. So that's a good question. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, that's a great question. AK Martinez has a question along the same line. They made a small ornament with brass patina, and they polished it and waxed it. 4 days later, they had almost a rainbow-like oxidation on areas of brass patina. Any clue why?
Probably because of the brass patina. I didn't even know that they make a brass patina. I knew they made that copper patina, which I prefer not to use because it looks a little pink to me. But yeah, the brass patina, I guess I'm not sure why you were getting a rainbow effect on it, unless it's some sort of reaction between the patina and your 60-40 solder. So maybe take something and like 2 pieces of glass and just with straight edges.
AK Martinez says, sorry, that it is copper patina.
Okay. Yeah, so the rainbow thing on the copper patina is just, it's the same effect. That's why I don't use it, because of it does a little bit different things. But if you'll take two straight line pieces of glass, foil them, and run a bead down half of it, and then skip a spot and run a bead down the other half, except run one with 60-40 and one with 50-50, and then clean it correctly, and then see which one of those works better with the copper. I'm going to guess the copper patina is going to work better with the 50-50 solder. I think it might be the tin, the reaction in the tin, and maybe it's doing that. But again, I don't use the copper patina just because I just don't like the color of it.
And you said use it with 60-40 solder, correct?
Or, and do a solder bead with 60-40, and then skip a space, and then do a solder bead with 50-50, and see which one of those, and then clean it and patina it. This is your test piece. So, and then do the copper patina on both, on the 50-50 and the 60-40, and see if in a couple of days it does what, it gives you that rainbow effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about the copper patina. And you know what? It could have been, well, I'm sure you shook it up well, and the copper patina definitely needs to be shaken well before it's used. So.
Magali said it's a pain in the tush. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Well, the copper
So-
patina is like, I guess they needed something else to put in another bottle.
Well, some people, that's what they
they
like.
like.
Years ago, that's all people used was copper patina.
Right. Oh, everything
They never
everything was
used
copper.
black. And once we got the black patina, we're like, yeah, that really makes the colors pop.
Well, yeah, the black patina makes your entire piece of work just jump out and grab you. I mean, that's how good that black patina works. The copper patina, like I said, it just doesn't do anything for me, and that's just my opinion. And so using it is okay. I just don't use it.
Okay.
Unless I have to match something else and kind of...
Let me know if I've skipped over someone's question. But I have a question here that I see from Joan, a first-timer here to the show.
Hi, Joan. Welcome.
Do I need a fan to suck in the fumes when soldering?
Well, you definitely need good ventilation, okay? So, and you don't want to have air blowing onto where your soldering point, where you're soldering. But you definitely want to be able to remove those solder fumes. And you can turn a fan around and have it blowing the other way, and it'll pull air from behind you and across your work, and you should be fine with that. You just want to make sure, hey, if your tongue's burning while you're soldering, then you don't have enough ventilation.
Or you feel like you can taste it.
Or you feel like you can taste it. But also, we recommend using the Ruby Flux, because the Ruby Flux doesn't smoke, doesn't burn your tongue, and it's really a nice, strong acid that will help you and change your solder. And also, we recommend you use a rheostat. Now, if you have a rheostat in your iron, one of those Heikos, and it's got the rheostat in the iron, you don't need another rheostat. One's fine. But you'll find if you use a rheostat, your work will change. Control that temperature.
Thank you, AK Martinez.
Oh, thank you, guys.
We appreciate it. We got a super thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a good question.
That was a good question. And you know what? We welcome you first-timers. Please chime in. Let us know that you're here, because we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And if we can't do it, we have quite the community out there that can either help us with that or help you with that problem.
Everybody say happy birthday to Tom, and give a thumbs up for Ray. And
Right.
thank you, everyone.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, our friend Tom. Happy birthday to you.
I would join in, but he has a much better voice than I
What?
do.
Hey, you know what I did with the money my parents gave me for singing lessons? I went surfing.
Spin it. Okay.
Spent it. Yeah, I spent it.
Okay.
Anyway, happy birthday, Tom.
And thank you, Ray. Okay, we have any more questions here? I'm looking. Why did my instructor have me use unleaded solder for an outdoor piece? This is a question from Steve.
Your instructor used lead-free solder
For an outdoor.
for an outdoor... I don't know.
It's more expensive.
Lead-free solder is crazy expensive. It's $40-some a pound. But I don't know, because everything that every church window that's exposed to the exterior all uses lead. Lead solder 50-50. I don't know why he did that. I really don't know.
Today is Magali's birthday.
Magali, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
All right, and we got time for a song for Magali. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, our dear friend Magali. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, are there any more birthdays?
Let's get them in before I go. My voice is shrinking.
Okay. So, yeah, that's great.
That's great.
Everybody.
Thumbs up,
Oh,
everybody.
Diana wants to know if you cut your hand.
Oh, well, actually, it wasn't me this time. It was the dog.
Oh, that's the dog.
That's the dog. I did cut my finger. I made it.
wasn't
I made my
pretty.
little finger flat on one side. It was not a cut, but a shave. I caught one of those unforgiving flares that we talk about all the time. That
On
a big piece of glass, not on a little sheet of glass, but on a large sheet. I caught a flare, and put a flat spot on my finger. It's healing up well though. Yeah, I got Nurse Barbara on it. We're good. But thanks for asking.
Yeah.
The dog did this.
I've asked him to wear gloves when he moves this big glass from now on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
because
wear
that was a
gloves
bad
when I take the dog out.
Yeah, you need a shield.
Yeah, shield. Barbara has to use a box to keep the dog away.
Yeah, she likes to jump.
Yeah,
She thinks she's a puppy.
we're breaking her of that habit.
So she's home tonight, and I have the live stream on, and I just want to tell her, don't eat the couch.
Hey, Mary, be good for Daddy. Thank you.
So hopefully when we go home, there will be no damages.
Right. So yeah, hopefully she's really a good dog. She's a bodybuilder dog. She's that strong. I mean, every muscle in her body you can see. She's really a beautiful dog. We're very fortunate to have her.
Okay, so do we have any, no, it's Diana. It's not a big dog. It's a medium-sized dog. She's 39, 40 pounds, something like that.
Right.
But we got her from the
She wears a medium
shelter.
Christmas sweater.
Yeah, we got her from the shelter, and she's just not trained completely yet. And
But I think she could climb a tree.
I think so.
I think she would climb a tree if given the opportunity.
Yeah.
She's all hound, y'all. She's all hound.
Getting back to Steve's question about
Sure.
the unleaded solder, usually you use the unleaded solder.
For jewelry, right?
For jewelry,
Yeah, because it's a
yes.
95.5
So I'm not
or a
really
lead
sure.
free.
But I have a stained glass garden book here I want to show y'all, and I'll kind of look through it and see if they have any recommendations for that.
Yeah, I've never even heard of doing that. Maybe, it might have been the only solder that it was available to your instructor at the time. So I don't know. But I don't know why you would use lead-free solder outside.
Okay, I see Burnt Raw Toast question. And Steve had another question too. So let's do this. Is there a resource available that gives a temperature guide for soldering? You can. Ray and Ed have.
Ray and I, and Ray, thank you again. Ray and I, for ARTyRV's birthday, Ray sent me a digital, like a handgun thermometer. And it goes up to, its maximum temperature is 2,000 degrees. So I was curious because I was curious, Ray was curious, and there's a lot of curiosity out there. I use a rheostat. My rheostat on my iron is set at 7. Out of 10 numbers, it's set at 7. And that keeps my iron at a beautiful 515 degrees. And that's what I solder at, 515.
And that's for lead.
And that's for lead. So, that's a good temperature for me because of the way I work when I'm copper foiling. Sometimes I may turn it up just a little bit, but I'm really comfortable at 515, which is my number 7 on my rheostat. And I had no idea. For 43 years, I had no idea what temperature I was working at. All I knew is that my soldering iron tip was not black, was not piling up with a bunch of junk on it, and I didn't have to clean it every single time I used it. Once I got that temperature right, my iron stayed this beautiful bluish silver color and melted everything just the way it was supposed to and never got any trash buildup on it. So I work at 515. I had to get a digital thermometer from Ray to tell me because I think Ray was curious as well. And I know for a fact that I was curious because I had no idea. My grandson says, "Hey, Pop Ed, what temperature do you work at?" And I looked at him like a deer in the headlights because I had no idea. But now I know 515 is my is my groove on my soldering. And I can go on my lead, I can go down 1, 2, and pick straight up, and it won't melt the lead, but it leaves a beautiful solder joint.
And I would suggest to go back. We have an entire video on soldering. We just did one a month or so ago.
Yep.
It's a new one, 10 best soldering tips. So if you go to the YouTube channel and just do a search on soldering, you'll get our soldering, and Ed will explain all how to set your rheostat, how to test it, and all that kind of thing. And
Yeah,
he talks
'cause-
a lot about the rheostat, and that's how you're going to control your
Yeah,
temperature.
the only way you can control the temperature of your iron is to, number one, buy one of the Heiko irons, which is okay. And there's nothing wrong with that iron. It has a thermostat control in the iron itself. Now, I use a little $39 box that controls my temperature. And I just, for years, all I wanted to do was keep all the junk off of my tip in between setting it down and picking it up. And because I was running so hot, I couldn't do it. So I finally just gradually started turning my soldering iron down, turning it down. I reached a 7, and my soldering iron stayed one color, a bluish silver. And I didn't find myself having to clean the tip all the time because there wasn't a bunch of junk on it. It wasn't a bunch of black spots in my copper foil when I'm soldering. All that trash that the solder picks up while you're soldering, that black stuff, it's because your iron's too hot. So anyway, I'm a big stickler for your rheostat, but I'm also a big stickler for learning how to solder correctly and making your solder efficient so that your work is beautiful. So that's just my opinion.
Okay, Burnt Raw Toast has a question. What is the best non-magnetic solder tip using magnets to hold my piece in place?
Oh, you know what? I don't know, because the tips are your tip on your soldering iron. Now mine is under the tin on my soldering iron. My tip is copper. So most soldering iron tips are copper, and I guess that's magnetic, Burnt Raw Toast. I don't know, but well, yeah, it would be, because if you're holding your pieces together with magnets and they're copper, and then you're trying to get, your copper, I don't know if they make just a tin soldering iron tip or not, because the reason they make them out of copper is because they conduct heat and they stay hotter longer. Because if you remember, your heating elements up here in your iron, not down here. Your heating elements here, the bottom of your iron touches that element, and then the copper heats up and drives the heat to the bottom so that you can solder. And you know what, Burnt Raw Toast? I don't know. You could maybe check with Weller and see if they make a non-magnetic tip, but I'm not sure, because the tips are all copper. The tips are copper.
Okay.
So and again, if I'm wrong about copper being magnetic, but it must be if you're using it to hold your pieces together, because lead is definitely not magnetic.
Okay.
Is
Thank
that
you.
good? I
Thank
mean, I
you,
hope
Ed.
that answers your question, Burnt Raw Toast.
Yeah. Tom said he uses the lead-free stuff on things that'll be handled a lot, like business card holders and napkin holders, and that's a good idea. Anything that's going to be handled a lot.
Right.
So we have a lot of questions about solder, and Burnt Raw Toast said, does he need to use a different solder for necklace pendants?
Oh, definitely.
I would.
Yeah, anything that's worn around your neck is going to touch your skin, because your skin has millions and millions of pores. And you know what? It'll actually absorb that. It's not going to absorb it fast enough, I don't think.
You're not going to hurt anybody.
You're not going to hurt anybody. But out of the kindness of your heart and the thoughtfulness of your customers, use a 95.5.
Yeah, because you may have customers that wear your pendant all the time, and you don't want to
Right, and you don't want to be, you don't
Yeah.
want that. But the 95.5 is designed for that, or the lead-free. But the 95.5 is like, it's a little harder to work with, but the 95.5 is very shiny too. It's shiny. So
Okay, Julie wants to know the temperature for copper foil. Which number?
I've run my rheostat, Julie, on 7. I keep it, and that runs a really pretty bead at about 1 inch per second. I'm guessing. I'm trying to see here. Yeah, about 1 inch per second.
So, and then Jennifer says, do you use the same temperature for 50-50 and 60-40?
I do. But if you're using the 60-40, the best thing to do is just turn your iron up just a little tiny bit, because what you're going to find is because you're copper foil and you're running beads, you want to work a little bit faster. So yeah, give it a little more heat, maybe 7.5, Julie, and then you'll be able to work a little bit faster. I'm sorry, Jennifer. If you'll just turn your heat up a little bit hotter when you're working 60-40, you can work faster, because nobody wants to spend all day long running beads of solder because their iron's not hot enough. So yeah, do that and run it, and maybe you can get like a 1.5 or 2 inches per second, which was really good. So thank you, Alan. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Ellen. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. So
so we got lots of really good questions about solder.
Sure do.
And, that's one thing that in our industry that, knock on wood, there's not a shortage of yet. So, we're still having problems with our getting our copper foil, definitely having trouble getting blackback copper foil. And check your suppliers. And you know what? Speaking of suppliers, tonight we want to thank Sunshine Glassworks for sponsoring our show here at the ARTyRV Glass Studio, and we want to remind you that Sunshine Glass carries over 1,500 different colors of stained glass from all the manufacturers. Thanks again for sponsoring our show, guys. And if they can help you with anything, please give them a call. 800-828-7159.
And they'll be happy to help.
They'll be happy to help you.
Okay, I have another question here. When can you tell, this is from Joan Peterson, she says, you both got me back into stained glass after watching your videos. Thankfully, I did not sell my stuff. How can you tell if your foil is no good?
Well, Joan, hey, you know what? That's an awfully nice compliment. Thank you very much. And we're happy to get you started again. Glad you didn't sell your stuff.
Yeah.
But, copper foil is, now we have some people that keep their copper foil in the refrigerator in a baggie. Some people keep it in the drawer in their house, but they don't keep it in their studio. The main thing is humidity. Heat will ruin the glue on the tape, and the humidity will oxidize the copper foil. So here's the thing, Joe. If you're starting an old roll and you're going to try it, just peel off about 18 inches or so and tear that and throw that away. And then peel it back and see how sticky it is. And grind your glass, clean it, and see how well it sticks. If it doesn't stick, I know copper foil is expensive, $22 a roll or something, but $22 is a lot less expensive than being frustrated because your copper foil is bad. So I don't know that there's a life on the copper foil. It's all in how you take care of it. So give it a shot, try it, and if it doesn't work, just go ahead and get another one. Right?
Yeah. So, you told them to open it up?
Open the copper foil. Just pull off about 18 inches or so, about that much. Mm-hmm. Tear it off and throw that away, and then peel the paper back and have a piece of glass ready that's cleaned and ground, and see how well it sticks, and just, try it.
If it's old enough, you might have to go through a whole entire half a roll to get down
down to where you want, but if you got to do all that, it's much simpler just to buy a roll of copper foil and just ditch that. So,
yeah.
Because it's frustrating. You'll know it won't stick. Huh?
And it'll be real oxidized looking, so.
Yeah, it'd be kind of be almost green and pitted. So.
Yeah. Okay, Jen has a good question.
Hey, Jen.
She's making a 6-sided lamp. Is it better for her to have a round vase cap or a hexagon, which is stronger for that design? It's a big lamp. And she's heard of taking a round one and nipping it into shape.
Well, you can do that, but because you're building a 6-sided, they make 6-sided lamp vase caps for that particular reason, but they only go up to a certain size. So once you reach your limitation on the hexagon vase cap, then you're going to need to take a pair of tin snips and a 5 or 6 inch copper, vase cap round, and make your vase cap yourself. You want to make sure that you file the edges before you solder it to the top of your lamp. And you also want to make sure that on that lamp, you've got wire around the top, wire around the bottom, and you want to put a spider inside of it so that the lamp hangs on the spider, not on the lamp itself.
That's good, Ed. Thank you.
Yeah. So lamps, the structural integrity of lamps will last forever or a very short period of time, depending on how you put it together. So.
And Burnt Roll Toast wants to know, should I adjust anything using the 95.5 solder for making necklace pendants?
I think what you're going to find, Burnt Roll Toast, is that you're going to need to work a little bit hotter because you're melting the tin. And just work it a little bit hotter. Do a couple of test runs on your bead. And, and if you're doing necklaces and stuff like that, you're going to be beading up, around the outside edge. So you want to do a couple test runs with it and get your temperature just right. And remember, try not to get the temperature so hot that your iron changes colors darker than like a light bluish silver. So just give that a try, because you're going to find that the 95.5 is a little bit different to work with, but you'll be able to rest at night and you can tell your customers, yeah, it's 95.5. It's pretty much almost lead free. So
yeah. Magali has a good question.
Sure, Magali.
She uses Canfield 6040 solder and gets a lot of black stuff on her solder tip. Does that mean that she needs to clean the tip with a sponge?
Well, yeah, a very dry but yet moist sponge, Magali. And then the other thing is maybe just try to turn your iron down just a tiny, tiny bit and see if that helps. It's not going to be much. It could be a matter of 3 or 4 degrees, Magali, and that black stuff should stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Canfield's like the #1 solder in the country, and it's clean.
Yeah, it should be.
So there's something going on with your tip, and maybe tone it down just a little bit, hon. That's all. I love this little necklace around my neck.
Okay. So, well, are you ready to do, if we don't have any questions right at this moment?
Yeah, let's do a little. Barbara's going to do part of the glass chat, and I'm going to do another part.
Well, I just want to share with you guys, let's see how we do this.
There you go. You want me to hold them up?
Stained Glass Basics.
While you talk, I'll hold them up.
The Stained Glass Basics book. If you're just beginning in stained glass, this is the book that you need. It's got everything from start to finish, all your tools, an explanation of each thing, and even has some patterns in it.
Has a few little patterns, but what it does is it explains the pattern to you. But it explains using copper foil, it explains using brass U-channel, all the different things that are available to you. This book explains it, including using lead and zinc. So this is a great book,
It's very
Barbara.
comprehensive, and I think that you guys will learn a lot. Have it in your workshop. I think you'll really like it.
Well, and if you use it, this is just one book that should be in your shop because it's a great reference book. So now we're going to talk about Stained Glass Garden. This is another great book for your library in your studio.
Right. If you have if you love gardening and stained glass, you'll love this book. And also, if you have to make some gifts for your gardening friends, it's got all kinds of things in there to make. So I thought that was a really nice book. And that's also on our Amazon page. If you go to the description of this live stream, there's a link to the books.
Okay.
Okay? And then
so now this book.
Yeah, this book right here, and there is a section in here that I think that they would be very interested in. Did I mark it? I hope I marked it. I thought I marked it.
Not about the cane bender, right? Because that was in the other book.
The cane benders in the other book?
Yeah,
Oh, I have that book marked.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So anyway, this Beyond the Basic stained glass book is, let me tell you, is a great, this is the #1
Hanging lampshade.
hanging lamp. This is a reference guide for your studio. So this book, Barbara had it.
It's got jewelry hinges. It's got everything that you guys ask questions about. This is your next step after a beginner.
And then this book, this book here, the Stained Glass Basics, this tells you all about how reinforcing your work, using copper restrip in your copper foil projects. All of those things are right here. And these 3 books, y'all, are on our shopping page on our website. And just click on that and go to it. But it's a great reference guide for your studio library. So, and these are great books, Barbara. Great books.
Yeah. You guys, I think, will really like them.
Yeah. So, hey, you got another question?
I'm looking. Let's see.
Ellen, do you use a rheostat on your 80-watt Weller? You better believe I do.
Where do you see that question?
All the way down the bottom.
Oh, all the way at the
Hey,
bottom.
guys, if you got a question, please put a Q in front of it because it's really hard to see with everybody chiming in. And if we don't see a Q on it, we're liable to miss your question. So I use a rheostat on my 80-watt iron, on my 100-watt iron, and on my 200-watt iron.
Always use a rheostat.
Always use a rheostat. You know, Santa's coming to town, and if you don't have one, write him a letter, add it to your list, and see if you can't get one for Christmas.
And I wanted to tell you, those books are all under $20. In fact, one of them's $10. So I think it's the Beyond Basic Stained Glass Making is $10.
$10. Get out.
I mean,
That's
put
crazy.
it on your Christmas list and tell them where to buy it.
Yeah.
Also, the rheostats that we use, I think they're $22 on our Amazon page under soldering tools. So,
And they're really an inexpensive rheostat, but you know what? I'm telling you, y'all, your work will change if you use a rheostat.
Magali, if you've got a Heiko, you have a rheostat.
You
right?
have a you have a rheostat, Magali. It's in your Heiko iron.
You just need to adjust that.
Just tone it just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, you don't need to. You don't need to.
No, we don't want to.
Okay. Oh, she knows. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
You're
you
just
got it,
thinking about a
Magali.
new iron, I think.
Yeah. I use my iron, I use a 80-watt, what used to be called the Weller 1175, the Unger 1175. Well, Weller makes it now. It's about $145, and it's really a nice iron. If I'm doing copper foil or 3/16 lead or smaller, I use my 80-watt iron because I just love it, and I can work it to death.
Yeah, she says she does turn it down, but then she has to slow down on the soldering. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you'll turn it down a little bit, you'll eliminate the black spots. Huh?
So you have to find that
It's
that
right.
perfect temperature.
Yeah, it's very
it's
very
you
fun.
Need something in between, like a half, right?
Yeah, we need 7.25.
Dial it in.
Dial it in on your digital iron controller.
Oh yeah, they do make a digital.
They do
one.
make a digital iron
I
controller.
don't know if we have one on the Amazon page. I can look. And
Yeah,
see.
we don't. We definitely don't have one in the studio for sure.
No, we don't. I think we're ready for a
glass chat.
glass
All
chat.
right. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna show everybody just a little trick that you can do to your pencil cutter, your pencil handle cutter, and it actually relieves a little bit of the pressure on your wrist because it gives you a little something to hold on to. So, Barb, let's switch over to the other camera here.
I did want to
We're gonna
say
talk
that the
about it.
rheostat and the Weller iron, the combo that Ed uses, is on the Amazon page. So if you want to use what Ed uses, it's on that.
Yeah, and I use the Weller
soldering
80-watt
section.
iron. That the tip, the whole heating element and everything unscrews like a light bulb, and you just replace that. So If it goes, I don't know. I've had my iron for so long. I don't even know if it's time for a new tip or not. But
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll
But
look at it.
if you use a rheostat, you don't burn your tips up either, y'all.
Okay, let's
talk about it.
let's not talk about the
Hey, let's not
rheostat.
talk about that rheostat.
Okay, you need a close up.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, okay. Let's do this. Go
All
ahead,
right.
Ed.
There we go. Can y'all see that? I got my pencil grip glass cutter, and right here I wrapped copper foil around the brass, because it's brass. I wrapped copper foil around it, and then I soldered it a couple layers, and then I let it get cool. And then what happened is I just took a little block of wood after it soldered, and I put a little indentation right here on the top. That indentation keeps my index finger from sliding down, and it changes everything. For those of you that have a little bit of trouble with your wrist, or you feel like you can't push down hard enough, which you don't need to push down really hard to cut glass, but this, to get those out of the way, this little trick right here for your solder, for your cutting, for your cutter, is really a great way to go. Again, your finger sits right on that. Can you see that? Yeah, see? Your finger sits right on that. And this will allow your finger not to slip down. Go figure. It's a very simple design. And my father was the first one that did this, that I saw it on his cutter, because he was cutting hundreds and hundreds of pieces of glass a day when he was working with us before he passed away. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that little bit of information about this pencil grip cutter. You can change the way that it feels in your hand just by adding what feels like maybe a half an ounce of solder, or something about 2 or 3 inches long of solder. Put it on there, let it cool off, and you're good to go. Okay? I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Do we have any more questions? Okay.
No, we're good. Do we have any
Okay.
more questions?
All right.
Okay. So we're gonna do something today. I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what I have recently learned as a rainbow cut, and I personally just thought of it as a way to move my way to the inside to allow myself to whittle away to cut out a half circle. So the first thing we're gonna do, this is a rainbow cut. You see it, rainbow cut. Get it? Rainbow. Go figure. So we're going to start right here. And remember, I'm not changing my cutter pressure. That's one piece of the rainbow. Now I'm using my grousing pliers, and remember, I keep my little index finger knuckle underneath, and we go to the other end, and we remove that. Now remember, we're working our way to this right here. We really want to get that out without wasting a whole piece of glass, because we've got something that sits in there, and without it, we're going to waste this big piece of glass. And we're going to have to start over. Now you can see that I'm chasing my run all the way around. Okay. Now we're into the meat of it now. This is the meat. So we're working our way around. I'm going to change hands here because we're coming in over here.
I can't see.
And that is a big smile for you.
Oh, they can't see. Wait a minute. Go ahead.
That's a big smile for everybody. So anyway, you know, I just knew that those were relief cuts, okay? And then someone watched one of our short videos, and I was doing a relief cut, and actually I was showing Barbara a relief cut, and a viewer called it a rainbow cut. And I thought to myself, you know what? That's exactly because you cut out little rainbows, and eventually you get to the meat of the project, and it allows you to just go at it a little bit at a time, like that. And hopefully it fits right on top of your head. So
It
anyway,
doesn't cut you.
and it doesn't cut you. So that's a rainbow cut, and this is my little simple fix for if your finger keeps sliding off of your pencil grip cutter. Take some copper foil and some 50-50 solder, put that thing on there, and that'll stop your finger from sliding. It'll stop it right now from sliding. And maybe you'll enjoy your pencil grip cutter a little bit more, and you'll find it a little easier to cut your glass because your finger's not sliding down the tube. Just try it. If it works, you know, if it doesn't work, you can always take it off. But personally, I like it, and it helps me do my job more efficiently.
Okay, I had a little bit of trouble there. I couldn't get into my all my questions here. So it's back.
Are we back on?
Yeah, it's back now. So I'm going to have to take me a minute to get the questions. And I think you have a piece of glass to show, don't you?
I do. I just want to share something with somebody. With everybody. Not
With
somebody.
somebody.
I'm going to share it with everybody.
Okay, share it with everybody.
This is a funny kind of glass. Okay, so we're going to share this. I'm just going to show it right here, I think, Barb.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. So what I want to talk about is this is one of the most common colors of background glass in churches. Now, the two companies that make this particular color, which is a purple amber opal, are Wismac and Kokomo. This particular piece, this is a Wismac, and it is a W94D. D is in dense. In other words, you can't see it. Not that it's goofy, it's just dense and you can't see through it. So, but oddly enough, Kokomo makes a same color combination, okay, purple, amber, opal. This was a 94 from Wismac, and Kokomo's is a 49. So, and this particular purple, amber, opal is also mixed with white, but what I want you to know is that this is one of the very most common glasses used in church windows. So if you have to do a repair on a background, you're going to find out that it's either 49 or 94. It's either a 49 or 94D, and you're going to really... I love this glass, and whether it's Kokomo or Wismac, it's beautiful to cut and easy to work with.
Beautiful in the light.
And it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful in the light.
It's very soft.
I don't know.
Very soft. I can't really. It doesn't really.
Can't
do
really
it
see
any
it. It's a
justice.
very, you know, when you walk to a church that has, that either has the 94D, the 49D, or the W58D, which is the lamp beige. When you walk into a church with those background colors, it feels as if someone has put their arms around you and makes you feel warm. So keep that in mind if you're designing church windows. What a beautiful background glass those are. Mm-hmm. And it will warm up the church.
It does.
Which
it
is
really
what you want. You want that warmth, okay? And even if you have rectangular windows, if you put an arch on top of them, in the window, in the design itself, you'll find when you sit down, the window is taller. It's an optical confusion, but it works.
Okay, Ed Forsman, thank you, Ed.
Uh-huh.
Ed Forsman said he can't find a replacement for the Weller 80.
You can't find the tip. You have to buy the whole iron, Ed. I'm sorry about that, but you know what? I had to buy the new iron too, $142 for just to get the tip. But now, if you're going to start using a rheostat with your work, you'll find that heating element will last really a long time. So, yeah, I had to buy the whole iron, Ed. And hey, Ed, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight too, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Do you dip? Joan wants to know, do you dip your cutter in oil?
I do about maybe once a week. About once a week. I just dip it in oil, make sure it's not all over my hands.
Just a little bit.
Just a little tiny bit, and it basically what it does is it just lubricates that little armature that the wheel rolls on for me. So that's where we are on that.
Jennifer wants to know, what if you want the half circle? How do you cut that so it's still whole?
Well, Jennifer, you gave us a super chat or a super sticker, so let me show you how we can do that. So you want to keep the half circle, and you don't want to rainbow it. Is that the question, dear?
Yeah, she wants to keep the whole thing.
She wants to keep the whole thing. So here we go. Jennifer, should I go in as deep as I made the other one, you think, to cut it? Or you just want me to show you how to just do it? You want me to go in as deep as this one? All right, I'll do it. Here we go. I don't know if you answered my question or not, but I'm going to do it.
He's going to do it for you, Jen.
And you know what? Hey, y'all, things don't always come out for me either. So here we go. This is what we're cutting out. We're going to try and keep this piece right here. Here we go. Okay, so because I want to keep the inside, I'm gonna start out by working on the outside. And I'll try and stay in the camera, y'all. I can't. Okay, so now I'm going to start over here. All right, so I've got my run. My run goes from here to here. And I ran it up from here to here. So now we're going to go underneath. And we're going to run that around until we hear them pop. Okay. So now what we're going to do, just like a circle, okay?
Rochelle says you're a daredevil. Rocket.
I made a mailbox. There you go.
Wait a minute. Let me
It's
get
all
the
gone,
main
dude.
cam on.
I'm sorry.
There. Good deal. See it? Nice.
Thanks for the challenge. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Anytime y'all have an idea that you or a reason that you're having trouble cutting something, you know, I can always try to help you by trying to mimic what you're trying to cut here in the studio and try and help you with that process. Things don't always come out for me either, but I have a different way of looking at it. After cutting glass for 43 years, there's more than one way to get that piece of glass out of there, and to be able to keep this beautiful H going here, which makes me happy. I'm happy.
Okay, Rick wants to know, did you grab the top of your cutter as you were making the scores? I guess he's talking about like when you're pressing and then some people hold the top.
I turn it. I don't hold the pressure. The pressure is coming from my index finger.
Let me
Okay.
show that close up there.
Okay, so let's do this.
That's a good question because
Yeah, so when I
sometimes
come
you have-
around the curve, I don't push down, I help turn. Like that. So while I'm turning, My left hand, because I'm left-handed, my left hand is what controls the pressure. My right hand on top of the nut on the cutter is what I do.
Let me show. You got it? Yeah. Okay.
So keep in mind, y'all, the secret to cutting curves, or inside curves, outside curves, anything with a radius on it, you really need to, number one, don't stop moving forward just because you're turning. Okay? That wheel should have a constant state of motion the entire way through the cut. And remember, listen to your cutter, keep the same pressure start to finish, and your actions will be paid off by getting that piece of glass out.
Jen wants to know, when cutting mirrors, what do you suggest to seal them after cutting?
All right, after cutting, first of all, after cutting a mirror, you need to sand the back, not grind it on your grinder, because that'll chip the silver. So what you want to do is you can grind the edge because you're going to copper foil it, and then you're going to come back with a piece of emery board or 220 grit sandpaper and sand the back edge, and then seal it with clear fingernail polish. Not remover, polish. Clear fingernail polish, seal the mirror, allow it to dry, and then copper foil it. You should be fine.
Tom says he's working with a piece of bullseye that is really hard to work with. It's brittle.
What's the part number, Tom? Just out of curiosity, if you have it. And is it clear or I mean, not clear, but a transparent color, or is it a opaque or a heavy texture bullseye?
Okay, so we'll wait for
Tom to answer, and thank you for the question, and we'll see if we can't help you with that bullseye.
And then Rick Day said, did we already cover this? Why do you grab the top of the pencil cutter when scoring the arches?
Yeah, that's just so that I'm turning it. It's kind of hard to rotate it, but I want to keep that wheel moving forward all the time. That wheel should be moving forward even when I'm turning. And the reason I had to put my hand on the top is because I'm sitting down cutting glass. Something I recommend not to do. I recommend sitting down to foil and to grind, but not to cut.
Right.
Yeah, you should be comfortable when you're foiling.
Does that work for textured glass?
Yes, it sure does.
So we'll be doing a few more demos on textured glass. You want to do a demo on textured glass?
Well,
pattern?
I got all these challenges coming up.
Okay. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do the viewer showcase and come back?
Why don't we do the viewer showcase, and then we'll work on this. And try and cut a piece of that. I'll see if I can cut a piece of this for you. Tom, this is a bullseye. I'm not sure of the number, but it is a ripple, and it is a heavy ripple on a black background. So anyway, iridized. So the iridescent doesn't matter. That's just a salty oxide chloride chemical.
Okay. So we're going to go to the viewer showcase. Okay.
And we did have some pretty work come in.
Yeah. Art Sopko. I don't know if Art is here. Art S. I don't know if he's here tonight, but he sent in this work, which is very colorful. And I'm sure he didn't tell me what the meaning of it was, but it looks to me like it's something that is very meaningful. And
maybe even a little bit, I'm not sure. It's kind of like almost like a religious, the sun
like
coming up and
the sky
abstract,
and the ocean and that type of thing.
Maybe, yeah, just basically the elements of life.
Yeah, the elements. Okay, the next one up is Burnt Raw Toast.
Uh-oh.
And I believe Burnt Raw Toast is a beginner, and he followed your pattern.
And that looks really good, Burnt Raw Toast. I love it.
I love the colors you use. Perfect. It's really good.
It's perfect.
Really good project. So
yeah,
thank you for submitting
I like that pink and yellow
that
you use, because to me that looks just like, that's fall to
like
me,
fall.
man. Yeah,
it
that's
really
fall.
Does. And then the next one up is Jen Robertson.
Hey, Jen,
And
we got you on the air, der.
Jen, excellent project. And Jen had an issue with trying to find a frame for her stained glass.
For an oval, which we,
For an
you know,
oval.
we'd said,
we
well,
talked
it's like
about it a
craziness.
couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. So what she did is she did the
She did the rope trick.
She did the rope, twist it around. That's lead.
It's lead, yeah.
And
So she
made
used
that nice frame.
Yeah, she
Beautiful
used a U
colors.
lead, and then she put it in a drill, twisted it up, and then made it go around there. And wow, what a beautiful frame that
Very
made
nice project.
around
Jen.
an otherwise troublesome project. Yeah.
Yeah. Great solution.
Yeah, great solution. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in for our viewer showcase. And remember, the first Monday of every month, we do our viewer showcase. So please send us your photos. We'll get them on the air because we want everyone to see your work.
And we take beginner work and advanced. It's a viewer showcase, so we showcase any of the
Everybody.
work you send in.
Yeah, we'll showcase everybody.
So to have your work considered, just go to conwayglass.com, ARTyRV, and send us a message, and we'll send you a link so that you can send the photos. And thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
And I those three little windows were just so pretty and so elegant.
They were. We enjoy getting those in every month. Okay, I see some more questions.
All right, we got it going on.
Judith wants to know, do you seal the entire back of the mirror or just the edges?
Just the edges. Just the edges, Judith. Just the edges. So sand it, and maybe like a 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch all the way around. The width of your flux brush, that'll be good. And you can use the brush that's in the fingernail polish. That's fine. You just want to make sure those edges are sealed so that the patina doesn't get underneath the silver and turn the mirror black in a very short period of time.
Jen has a question. What type of grinder bit is best, copper or chrome?
Well, I think all of the bits that I have on my grinders are copper bits with the diamonds epoxy impregnated on the bit itself. So, yeah, I mean they make a chrome one that's attached that has the diamonds attached to it. But since Inland and them went or Glass Star went out, Inland's they got some pretty nice grinder heads, but the ones that I use, all the ones I use are all copper backed.
Yes. We have a question. Steve wants to know, his hobby cane isn't shiny, and he wants it to be shiny. How do we get it to shine?
You just need to clean it up and steel wool it because it's oxidized sitting in the box. Once you apply it to your piece, then steel wool it and shine it up, and it should be fine. So, yeah, the lead oxidizes just sitting in the box. It doesn't matter how much agent, drying agent you have in there, a desiccant gel you have in the little packs. Your lead will always oxidize a little bit.
Ray just literally got his package. Well, good.
Did you, Ray?
They were
Open it
supposed to
up.
be there at 3:15. He did. They
Oh,
are
okay.
so awesome and beautiful. Thank you, Ray.
And you know what, Ray?
They were.
Merry Christmas, my friend.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. We love everything you do for us, Ray. Ed wants to know how that framing was done again.
Okay, Ed. Hey, it's good to see you too,
Ed.
man. So you take your piece of lead, you attach one end of it to your table, or to your wife, and then put the other end in the drill, in the chuck in the drill, and then just twist it up. Now, as you're twisting it, of course, your lead's going to get a little bit shorter, but twist it up, and you can make a beautiful, beautiful rope design. And then you attach that around your sun catchers or whatever you're doing. So yeah, it's and you can use 1/4 inch round H lead, but you can also use 5/32 H lead and make a small twisted frame. But just attach the one end to the table or to your wife, and put the other end in the chuck on the drill and let it
Did
go.
you say to your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just give her a pair of pliers and let her hold it. That's all. Not attach it to her like tie her up with it or
I
anything.
have some advice. Stand against the wall and let him walk backwards.
Oh, we're twisting it. We're not pulling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna
right.
twist it.
Okay,
we're making a frame, Barb.
Okay, I was reading.
We're making a
I
frame.
thought you were talking about something. Art is here. Art Sopko is here.
Oh, hey, Art. We just showed you a picture,
he
buddy.
said the theme was creation. You were right.
Okay, creation.
Yes.
Oh, I was pretty close. I was pretty
good.
close.
Yeah.
That's like I said. It just looked. Yeah, just the way it looked. I could read into it.
So, do we have any more questions? Do you see any more questions?
I don't know. I guess we're gonna work on this. Hey Tom, I think I'm gonna try and cut this piece of heavy duty bullseye that I have, and it's all not easy. A lot of bullseye glass is really nice, but what I've found with the textured glass, some of it is brittle because of how they're. It could have been just the day the annealer might have been running a little bit too fast. The leer might have been running a little bit too fast, and you get that. But we're going to try and cut this piece of crazy glass here.
Okay.
And see what happens.
Okay.
So here we go.
Now that's heavily textured on the other side.
This is a really heavy iridized bullseye ripple. It's actually a gold iridized, isn't it? How about that? It's beautiful. My gosh, that's beautiful. So anyway, first thing we're going to do is cut a straight line. And we know right off the bat that probably the running pliers, they may work or they may not. Because we're running it with the grain of the ripple, the straight line, I'm sorry, Barb. The straight line will work, okay? So, and I'll see that flare right there? That's one of those little things that flattened out my little finger. So anyway, here we go. We're going to try and cut an inside curve, Thomas, and or Tom, and let's just see how it goes.
Magali wants some of that glass.
I got a bunch of it, dear. Okay, so first we're gonna tap this, and we're gonna get that started. Now I'm gonna grab my grousers. Y'all got me tonight, didn't you?
Oh no.
Yeah, you got me tonight. I'm just trying. Let's see. It's probably not going to break right. Oh, there it goes.
Give up. You're going to rock it open.
All right, so you see all the flakes? Can you see that? That's all flying off of the ripple. And you hear it? It's loose. There it goes.
It's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle.
There we go. So, Tom, I don't know if it'll help you by taking and tapping the glass a little bit as you go around, loosen it up a little bit, get it started with the run, but then work on use your grousing pliers rather than your running pliers, because what's going to happen is your running pliers are going to be popping down like this, and it's probably going to go that way or that way if it's that fragile. But so anyway, there's an inside curve on a really tough, nutty looking piece of glass, but a beautiful piece of glass. I hope that helps you, my friend.
Tom said 002123 is his number on his bullseye.
002123. All right.
Okay, we'll look it up.
I'll look it up for you, and we'll figure it out. Is it a texture, Tom? Heavy duty?
He said it's just real brittle.
It's just real brittle.
Answer. Susie wants to know, what side of the project do you guys solder first, front side or back side?
Oh, you know what, Susie? usually the front side because I usually work with my textured glass down when I'm doing lead. So I would solder the top side first. Like this morning, I came in, soldered a transom on both sides, and then puttied it. And
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
what happened?
I was reading Magali.
What is she telling jokes again?
Yeah. Go ahead.
kidding.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. So anyway, Susie, I actually solder, I guess you would say, on the upside first. So the side that the customer is going to be, that's going to be inside their home. Yeah.
Magali said she's going to send you a piece of pattern for you to cut at the next live chat.
Okay, Magali, get it in the mail, hon. Shoot it to me. You got a week to get here. It's good.
Yeah. Okay, Tom says the pieces he's cutting are small.
Oh, well, see, that could be the problem because the smaller the pieces, the harder it is to get those nips off of there. However, you know what I found too is cutting small pieces. If you use 2 pair of grousing pliers and kind of work them like that, Tom, try that. Maybe using 2 pair of grousing pliers, one to hold and one to break, might help you out a little bit. I don't know, but let's try that.
He said it's textured on both sides.
Yeah, well, the black glass is textured on both sides too, Tom.
You just can't.
You just can't see this part of
Yeah,
it here. I'll try and move it in the. See it? See the texture? I'm driving over top of that. So just remember, Tom, when you're doing that, and it may be one of those pieces of glasses, I don't know, that you have to put in a saw, but I wouldn't think so. Just because it's textured on both sides, just cut from the smoothest of the two and see if that helps you. And try using, because they're small pieces, try using 2 sets of grousing pliers. Hopefully that'll help you.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any more questions?
I don't know. I was just seeing Tom answered that a little bit. That's all.
Tom said he has to reverse the pattern and
Right.
cut on the smooth side to get the texture in the front that he wants. He's
Right.
making flames.
Okay, so if you're making flames, yeah, those are little tiny pieces and they probably have points on them. So remember to always, on points, if you're left-handed, break the right run first and then the left hand, because that'll keep the point from, because you're pulling down and your left hand will run that point out a little bit further. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're cutting points. Run the point, the long point side last with the hand that you cut from.
Ray wants to know what's for supper.
I don't know, Ray.
I think we're having chicken bog, aren't we?
Yeah, we're either going to have chicken bog or
I made chicken bog, but I think
we might have Chinese tonight.
Well, we ate it for dinner last night. We were going to eat leftovers, but we're probably going to
have it for lunch tomorrow.
have it for lunch tomorrow. We had it for lunch
Barbara
today.
y'all, those of you all that aren't from the South may not know what chicken bog is, but it's basically a perlo. Up north, they put rabbit or squirrel in it, mix it with rice and sausage, and they call it a perlo. But
this is made with chicken.
This is made with chicken, and Barb makes it with brown rice, makes her own chicken broth with the chicken that we picked apart. And anyway, I just want to tell everybody out there in YouTube world, Barb makes the best chicken bog I've ever eaten. So.
Oh, you're so sweet.
She's good. And our grandson likes it too.
So, yeah. So, it's probably Chinese again, because I think I got outvoted.
We're getting quick.
Yeah.
Okay. And the dog's made it home tonight by herself, so we're hoping that she's going to be very special for us.
Yeah, we hope she didn't eat the couch.
All right, Mary, are you being good? We're going to check in because we left a live stream on the TV tonight for her.
Okay, guys, we're going to head on out.
Ray, we're glad you got your package, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
And we fixed that glitch.
That wonderful conversation tonight. Y'all are super duper people. We love you. And we hope you have a great week.
Be safe.
Be safe.
And remember,
fun. Sell lots of glass.
Sell
Make
lots
of
that's
glass.
Right. And don't overload your credit cards this holiday season. Y'all, thank you so much. I'm Ed.
And I'm Barb.
And we want to thank you for tuning in to the ARTyRV Glass Studio channel.
We'll see you
Good
next
night,
week.
everybody. Merry Christmas.